Everybody knew one another. We looked out for the older people. Now, it seems like nobody cares. I feel like a lot of kids don't get that individualized, hands-on, loving energy that they need.
I need someone.
All right, as you see, we got some hardworking fellas.
I'm just a man, just a man.
Requity Cares because we understand that it's an underserved community, and the goal is to impact the youth and make it a better, beautiful neighborhood. Mental health is a big thing. Being okay with not being okay and doing something about it is key.
Community transformation is possible when a few people decide to care and take action. That's what's happening in West Baltimore through the innovative Requity Foundation. Requity is creating solutions to break cycles of disinvestment and build pathways to generational wealth. By connecting vocational education with real-world workforce opportunities, Requity is empowering residents and students to unlock their potential and create lasting change. Elisha Johnson from Requity is here on Up to share more. Elisha Johnson, welcome to Uncommon Philanthropist.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it is a delight to share this space with you and to get to know more about Requity Foundation. And we've connected on LinkedIn, and you've shared more about the foundation and just really the tremendous work they're doing in West Baltimore. Yes. And I think it's such an inspiration for other communities who are facing kind of a similar pathway. So let's start off talking about you. I'd love to know a little bit more about your background. Are you from that area? And let's just learn more about you, EJ.
Yes. So I've actually lived in this West Baltimore community for 35 years now. I attend the high school that most of our students are coming from.
Which is?
Carter Vocational-Technical, located on Pressman Street in West Baltimore. I've grown up around here. I've seen the disinvestment, and joining Requity, it just made me feel better as a citizen of the community, and the impact that we're having on the youth, I feel like, is tremendous and is so needed now, because one thing I was always told as a young person, it takes a village.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So did you go through the vocational track at Carver?
Yes. So my trade was cosmetology a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a while ago, but I did attend Carver, and programs like Requity didn't exist. We did have work study, whereas though we could find something outside of the building that was in our trade to get the hands-on experience or vocational hours that we needed in order to graduate. But nothing where as though it's like a wraparound services like we're providing to the youth today. And it's just an amazing experience to be a part of.
Okay. So we're here to talk about Carver, but we're also here to talk about Requity Foundation. Tell us a little bit about what that is and how it all got started, because it's such a cool story.
Okay, so it originally was founded in 2020. Our baseball coach, Michael Rosenband at Carver High School, he came from New York. He was thrown into the role of baseball coach. They don't have a field. This was some of the students' first time ever holding baseball equipment. Wow. So he had to figure out a way to be able to transport the students to a field so that they could practice, but he left it up to the youth to figure out. So they were able to figure out, okay, we can run to the field. He said, okay, well, who's going to carry all the supplies? They said we could bike. Okay, well, where are we going to store the supplies? So then they said, okay, we need a van. So they were able to negotiate the price of a van and get a 15-passenger van. And he said, okay, we figured out baseball. one of his students, Sterling Hardy, said, this is great, Coach Mike. We figured out baseball, but I'm not getting jobs. I'm a carpentry honor student. I'm applying, and the thing that they're telling me is I don't have hands-on experience. He said, but every day I come to school, I get off the bus and I see 9 out of 22 homes dilapidated right across from the school. So why can't we use what we're learning in the classroom and fix up these houses? And that question sparked the drive to figure out a way. And that's how Requity came about.
Wow. So this is row houses, right? A series of row houses that are directly across from the high school.
Yes.
Had they been in a dilapidated condition for quite some
For
time?
years. Mind you, I told you I've lived here for 35 years. These houses have been falling apart over 10 years. Some of them owned by the city of Baltimore, and the main thing was trying to gain site control, and the students were a part of that. Who do we need to reach out to obtain site control? And eventually we were able to acquire a house, and we named it the Carver House in lieu of being right across the street from Carver High School. So,
Okay, so time out. How did you acquire that house? And how did kind of the discussions begin from that idea? What was the pathway that had to happen before you were able to get that house?
Yes, so we had to go through, find out at first who owns the house, and we found out it was a home owned by the city of Baltimore. We had to find out who the person for Department of Housing was in charge of this community so that we could reach out and try to acquire the house. Then they were able to acquire the house. Then we had to find out about different permits, for demolition and rehabbing. So this all happened while the pandemic was happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of pause and, okay, well, let's do a replicated model of the Carver house inside of Carver's masonry lab, which is a smaller scale, and this invites all of the different construction trades to have a part in building this model. So they created a version of the Carver house inside of the school so that way they still could get the hands-on experience while waiting for all the permits.
So, and this was student-led through a lot of these steps, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. We do have an architect that, helped design. He's certified in passive home building. So it's not just a renovation to say it's a renovation. It's using building science for clean energy purposes. So this will save the future homeowner on electric bills, heating, cooling costs. So it was a process. And during this process of figuring it all out, we noticed that the community had needs. It's a food desert. So we have culinary students that attend Carver. Those students come over and cook, prepare, and deliver meals for residents in the community free of charge. Since October of 2023, we've been successful in delivering over 2,500 meals to residents in this here community.
And I'm sure a lot of those are elderly people and people that are homebound.
Yes, yep. We go to the houses, we find out if there's any allergies, if there's any preferences or what they can and can't eat. And every Wednesday we provide a meal service.
That's beautiful. So paint the picture of Carver House now it's complete and in one of those row houses, correct?
So it's expected to be completed by the end of March.
Okay.
Right now, we're in the process of the HVAC portion of things. So the framing, as far as carpentry, is done. Masonry, of course, is the first step. The weatherization. They use something called Viscon, which is a vapor barrier to block heat from escaping or air from getting in during the winter months, and vice versa for the summer. Right now, we're on the portion of the HVAC, and then will come plumbing, electrical, drywall, and then it'll be completed.
You are not far away from being in that, I guess it's a home, but it's a facility. It's for training. It's to serve the community. It's going to serve a lot of purposes.
Yes, and we're currently in the process now of obtaining site control for another property to turn into a training house. So that way, students that come in at 10th grade will have the opportunity to help build it up, but it'll be scalable, whereas though we're able to tear it down for future grades to be able to get the same hands-on experiences as well.
And you just think, I mean, I've never had vocational training experience, but I think it has to be so much more rich doing it in a real world environment. I mean, the school models are great, but for your students to have that experience of actually rehabbing one of those homes and bringing it back to something, you know, from something decrepit to something amazing has got to be just really cup filling for them.
Yes, we speak to several of our construction interns. One, I've been like, I feel like I don't have sons. If I could say I had one, I would say he would be it. But he always expresses this level of gratitude that he has to say, like, I can't wait until it's done and I get older and ride through this neighborhood and be able to say, I helped build that home. It's a many of things these students could be doing negative. You know, the media loves to showcase the negative, but I like to highlight the positive that these students do what they do. We do grade checks to make sure they're on task with graduating on time, attendance, progress reports. These students show up, they've improved their grades by 20%. They are able to leave out at 12:18 every day for work-based learning and come and work on the Carver House project.
That is
Yep.
so cool.
Yep.
So tell me about some of these students, like any transformation stories that you might be able to
Oh,
share.
most definitely. Everyone assumes since we're located right across the street from Carver High School that it's just for Carver students, but it's not. Like, we don't believe in gender specific roles. We hired our first female construction intern, and she comes from Forest Park High School. Her trade in her high school is actually culinary, but she didn't know that it was okay for young women to get into the construction field. We broke that barrier. It's no gender specific roles. If you can lift it, you can do it. We have students like were cutting class, but they wanted to come and work, and we told them like, if you can't do what you have to do in that school building, it's no way we can consider you. All of our students that are with us now are passing their classes. Some of them only have one class a day, so they're able to come over a little bit earlier, but it's been an amazing journey to be along with the students and watch their growth. We do resume building, professional toolkits, because we want to have them set up for the paths to success when it comes time to interviewing. We host mock interviews. Every student has a professional LinkedIn profile. Once you learn a new skill, we're going to update it on your resume. We want your resume to be as current as possible.
And you have a media team too,
Yes,
correct?
our interactive media team runs all of our social media. They document the stories, the images of the students hard at work, our community engagement events. We hosted our first Thanksgiving drive, our first back to school. We do community cleanups. Media team is there on site capturing the footage to share with everyone through social medias.
I love it because you're creating uncommon philanthropists as we speak.
Yes.
Truly, because it's about serving your families and then serving your communities and serving each other. And I have a feeling that there's very much a team spirit with
Absolutely.
each of these teams that are working together.
Absolutely. We had a student that was struggling with their math and she was a little frustrated and she got, down. And I stepped back and watched how the students supported her. It just made me proud because it wasn't an adult that had to step in and say, come on, let me help you. They gathered and surrounded this student with love and uplifted her and showed her a way to be able to get through this difficult task. So if anything, like as a member of the team, I feel honored to be a part of the team to watch these students grow and flourish into young men and women.
That is, at its root, philanthropy is love of humanity. So
Yes. Yes.
be sure those kids know that they are uncommon philanthropists and what they're doing and that great things are coming their way.
True
And I
indeed.
love this whole emergence of vocational training, vocational tech as an option because a lot of kids just, college is not ever going to be part of their future, and that's okay. The fact that that is, it's just kind of the pathway that we think we have to take. So
Absolutely.
to be hands-on and learning these really practical skills where they can get right to work making good money and come out of high school with such great experience, really, really great work on the team. And it sounds like there's such a healthy culture there
Yes.
at Carver and Requity Foundation, and that's intentional.
Yes.
That comes with good leadership. And I just love that one coach that was just like, he just got in there and found a way to make it happen, and
Yes.
that's the spirit. What is your team mascot?
Our school, the Carver Bears.
Carver Bears.
Yep. Carver Bears.
That is so cool. Okay, so you have construction trades and culinary. What else is?
So we have construction, we have culinary, we have interactive media, we have business, and it's not a trade, but a portion that keeps us going is community. So that's all of our events, that's all of our stewardship, that's all of our checking on a neighbor. The weather's bad. Let's shovel Miss Mildred's front because she's unable to do so. That's something that's collective throughout all of the trades, regardless where we all find time for community.
Do you have mentors leaning in to help with this project, or is this all staff?
Yes, so we do have mentors. We do partnership. Like I told you, it takes a village. We do have a lot of MBE organizations that we partner with. Holden Washington Construction is one. He's our general contractor, and we sponsored him getting his passive builder's license so that way he would be able to flourish as effectively as possible in the construction trade pertaining to the passive homes. Whiting Turner, Flanagan, we have Carver alumni that, just want to be a support system. Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association, which is located in the same vicinity. Just once people hear the story, they ask, how can we help? How can we pitch in? What can we do? Amtrak is a faithful partner. Every community event, they're present. They bring stuff for the community. They help out. They sent me a request yesterday. What you have on the calendar for the year? So I have to send the schedule for our events for the year.
That is a hard thing to create engagement is for nonprofits. It's a hard thing to do, especially, let's talk about the Rosemont community and kind of the reality of the landscape there. So help us understand a little bit more about your home.
Yeah, so the Rosemont community is really, really disinvested. It's considered a food desert. There isn't a market in walking distance. There's convenience stores, but it's not healthy food options. It's overpriced. There are some food banks that do happen, but sometimes it's not close enough where our elderly residents would be able to get to those locations. So what we have done, August of last year, we were able to acquire a 0.67 acre lot, and we just received our soil testing results back because we're going to turn that into an urban farm community garden. I've also gotten into the food rescue initiative because there's a lot of surplus food out here that just gets thrown away, and that goes to the landfills, creating methane gas. So, how can we help the community and help society as a whole is a big thing. So, with all of that, we're able to do food distribution where we're delivering it to people that aren't able to commute to food pantries. a lot of the community residents have expressed their interest in urban farming, and we try to get the insight from community members to find out what are some things you would like to see in the community. They spoke of like a share box for items that are non-perishable. Take a can, leave a can type of situation. So our carpentry students are working on building us a box to have right in front of our headquarters to be able to do those initiatives as well.
Well, and I love the fact that community is a strategic part of what you're doing, because a lot of those people that you're reaching are just home alone by themselves day in and day out. And just that touch with humanity, the power of a meal or food, and it means so much. So way to figure that out. And I think your background is so interesting, because you thought you were going to be doing hair, and look what you're doing now.
I bounced around, trying to find what I was passionate about. I went to school over at Carver for cosmetology, but then I worked for food service. I was a cafeteria manager in city public schools for 10 years.
Okay, so you know food.
Yeah, that's what got me in the background of, okay, let's do food rescue, or me getting my Serve Safe instructor certification. So now we can give the students manager certifications. Like anything that's going to put these students a cut above, like with construction, OSHA 30 certifications. 10 is the minimum normally required. We want to take it a step above and beyond. So let's get you an OSHA 30. Schools offer culinary students the food handler certification. No, let's make it where as though you're able to manage the operation. I can now qualify you to get the manager certification. So it's to enhance what's happening in the school and set these students apart, to make them more employable, to make them in the position to be able to earn a livable wage.
Tremendous. And the work you're doing also in writing grants and doing promotion. I mean, how did all of that come about?
So initially, my role was community ambassador, and that was based off of me living in the community for so long. But I always been one to grow curious. I want to do research. I want to find out behind the scenes what makes this work, or what are the steps in order to obtain different things. So as I was sending different resources to my team, they say, you know what? Maybe you should be a part of the grants team as well. And when we would have we had a successful Youth Works last summer, and I said, let me reach out to every news station that I know in the city of Baltimore to see who would be willing to come and share our beautiful story. Because when it's tragedy, all of the stations are present. Luckily, Channel WMAR Cara Brunette, Channel 2 News, she's came out and saw us twice. We were able to get WJZ out. They came and interviewed us. We competed for U.S. Department of Energy grant in Chicago, December 3rd through 5th.
Okay, let's talk about that. Girl, that one I was like, what?
That was amazing. So it was a HEROX grant, and it was several portions, like different rounds. And the final round was to go to Chicago and compete against 19 organizations in order to win the grand prize, is what we walked away with. We took our youth ambassador, Justin Pittman. He's grown in the program, and he's got himself up into a leadership role. And we were able to travel to Chicago, give our pitch of what we're doing here in the community, and they awarded us the grand prize. So we walked away with the big check of $310,000 to support our initiatives in the community. Yes, ma'am.
Is just an incredible story.
Yes, and we met amazing organizations there, and we're able to connect and network as well to find out, okay, we figured it out somewhat here, but how can we expand this? How can we get this where as though other schools are replicating Carver House, or like with the wildfires happening in California, how can we help?
Send some of those stories my way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And this Justin Pittman,
I love that kid. I've known him about a year now, but I've watched him go from I want to be a basketball star to I want to be a general contractor. I want to help my community. It feels good to see this house coming together, like
yes.
honors in school, like attendance significantly improved. It's just like that's the reward, you know? It's like you see so much negative, so to be able to see these students self-motivated, these students wanting to help in ways that they can, that's the reward.
Well, and the reward, not only for you personally, because you're so invested, but the reward for the community and for society and for our country.
Yes,
You know, it's like poverty shouldn't limit potential ever.
absolutely.
You know, sometimes it just needs somebody breathing hope and opportunity and making you believe that you can do it and
Absolutely.
reorienting your focus on what's real.
Right.
You know, I think so many kids, you know, just chase that. I want to be a professional athlete and
Because
or a
it's
musician, you
yep.
know, and it's going to happen for a very few
Right.
slim majority, but you know
Right. What's the
what's
backup plan?
yeah,
Yeah, let's create the if that doesn't happen, what next?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be talking about purpose and you know being there for one another and you know a lot of times those steps, if you kind of do the next thing, you know, it just it unfolds, especially when you have a program such as this that really gives them great opportunity.
Absolutely. That same student was able to share like he had never been on a plane. This was like an experience of a lifetime. We took him to get him suited, custom suit, you know. So these different things he had never experienced before. So to be able to be a part of some of his first, knowing that it would be memorable, he'll remember that, I feel like, for the rest of his life.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be so did you had to do a pitch in front of
Yes.
everybody?
Yes. So we were given 10 minutes, all four, myself, Justin Pittman, Michael Rosenband, and Sabrina Rosenberg. We all had a portion. We tried to limit everybody to 2.5 minutes to say what it was we had to say to explain like their portion because it was like Michael specified the facts that students after graduating were expected to earn $13,000 a year, and that was not in their trades. Sabrina, she gave our statistics. She gave the numbers of how many students have been able to be impacted, how many students did go for college education but still secured part-time jobs. Myself, community. How we're able to gain the trust of residents and show them that it is people and organizations out here that do care about the well-being of our citizens. And Justin, his was the youth perspective, what he thought was supposed to be his path and how he's creating his own narrative, his own path to what would bring him success.
So good. What did they share with you why you were chosen? What was kind of the determining factor?
So all of the contestants were clean energy solutions, but a lot of people had like PowerPoint point presentations so they could get the communities take on it, the youth take on it. We had the people in the building, you know, the real actual people that are being impacted by this. Me being a community member, Justin being a youth that is participating in the program. I think that made us stand out. But I mean, the hard work spoke for itself. We practice our pitch repetitively, but it's the work that's being put in. it's the changes, it's the metrics, it's the stats, it's the everything surrounding the program that just proved like we were deserving of it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
That
you.
is a huge accomplishment. And I know that money will be just well invested in just helping this program grow. And I know that most any nonprofit, I ask the question, what is your greatest need? And it's almost always funding. And even with that big infusion of money, I'm sure, what is your biggest challenge, EJ?
It is funding because with the students learning everything that they are, we do compensate our students. So
Oh,
it's
good.
not a volunteer
Yeah.
project. They're getting an introduction into the workforce, but also I would say partnerships is a big need because we could we could reach more if more organizations are involved, if more partnerships and collaborations are happening, it would be a bigger impact. So I think outside of funding, I would say collaborations is the biggest need.
Could this model be replicated in other urban cities?
That's the goal. So we have created articles of dissemination in order to try and share the blueprints and standard operating procedures that we followed and the things that we've noticed successes with and also challenges. So that way, if it is a challenge that comes up, we may have a page in the book about it. So it's like, don't fret. This is a diversion or this is a way to get around it. But that's the goal, to give more of the youth bigger than Baltimore, as far as one could imagine, the opportunity to replicate the things that Requity Foundation are doing.
Because I would think a lot of the scenarios are very similar. I mean, each community is going to be unique, but affordable housing is just
It's always need.
it's like where to even begin to tackle that one. And maybe with what y'all are doing, you'll figure out a way to maybe tackle that one in the future. Is that
Yes,
part of the
that's part of the goal.
dream?
Yes, that's the dream. That's the dream. And helping out these natural disasters.
Oh my gosh.
It's like how can we get there? Do we do a fundraising campaign where as though we're able to get a crew of our team and speak with administration in California to create a partnership and help rebuild? That's currently the goal we're trying to figure out now. How can we help?
Well, I've been to Asheville a couple of times and served with Samaritan's Purse, and there were all kinds of busloads of people there serving as a group. And, it's especially with your specialized, your team's specialized skills. I mean, I didn't man a hammer, but I swept and I wiped stuff off and
Right.
I removed dirt and grime. And it's like we all can make a contribution. I think a lot of that is
Absolutely.
both areas are just going to need people for a long time.
Yes.
And to be locked in that they need our help. And I'm so glad that that's part of the DNA of that organization, is that you're inward focused on your community, but you're outward focused at times too
Yes.
to share the knowledge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an open book at Requity. There's, not a page that's, oh, we got to keep it for ourselves. No, let's share it, because this may be a document that's able to circulate the world and make it a better place. That's the goal.
That's a beautiful thing. So what is your hope for the future of the organization?
My hope is to obtain as many partnerships, sponsorships, expand and reach more youth. There are some youth that feel like there isn't a way out, to show them that it is possible. A lot of times the only thing people need is opportunity. To provide the opportunity for people to flourish is my goal.
That's a beautiful thing. Well, at Uncommon Philanthropist, my tag is let go. And so I would love for you to say, let go, however that comes across for you, and then unpack it a little bit as what do you believe let go means regarding the work that you're doing with the Requity Foundation?
Let go. I would say, pertaining to the work that I'm doing, let go of the negative stigmas that society try to build on us. Let go of the pain or the reasons why not to do something and consider more of why should I. Let go of anything that doesn't serve a purpose or bring you value. Let go of not knowing your worth, and not only not knowing your worth, but adding tax to it as well.
Lego. That
Yes.
was amazing. Well, am I missing anything? Is there anything that you would like to share about?
I was about to say, if anyone would like to find out more, our website is www.requity.org. Our Instagram, Carver_House, and LinkedIn, Requity Foundation, Inc.
Yeah.
That's
And
what.
what happened to that baseball team of,
Oh, so that year they went to championships. I don't know all the terminology, but it was something about a division round that was super positive. Everyone was super happy. They flourished. They're still going. It starts back up March the 1st. So it's going to be a whole lot of baseball at Requity for the baseball season, but I navigate around it a little.
did they ever get a field?
They haven't got a field. We're trying to partner with like the Orioles. We're in the process now of trying to get all the permissions in Carver High School to create a batting cage in the basement space that's underutilized. But there's a lot of permissions to go through for that. So we're still in the works on it.
God love you for learning how to navigate those hurdles with government.
It's a
Dang.
lot. It's a lot of red tape. So we're trying to go through all the channels, proper procedures and protocols to make it happen for the students.
Well, EJ, it was an absolute pleasure spending this time with you. I am so impressed with you personally and with the organization, and just can't wait to share your story.
Thank you so much.
And wish you all the best. Keep in touch and keep me apprised of all the great things that are happening at Requity.
I sure will. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Keep up the great work. Let go.
Thank you. Bye. Let go.